Happy Friday once again, Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Earlier on this morning, I uploaded the preview for the Tennessee Evansville series today. Obviously, Super Regionals on the line, a trip to Omaha on the line. If Tennessee wins, they'll play the winner of the series that started at noon today with UConn and Florida State. Of course, that is Tennessee's chance for a little bit of revenge if they get to that, because Florida State's coach, Link Jarrett, 2 years ago was the coach at Notre Dame when they come in and kind of shocked everyone when they punched Tennessee in the mouth, and Tennessee did nothing about it in response. But Tennessee Evansville today, talk about that. But it's, not only is a big weekend because Tennessee's looking to get to the College World Series, but portal season is hot and heavy. I saw this that last year when Tennessee was not able to host. Of course, they went to the Clemson Regional, and then for the Super, they went to Southern Miss. But that deprived them of the opportunity to host any visitors, and one that they had wanted to host went to LSU for the Super Regional, ended up committing to LSU. So, how could that have played out different? Who knows in that regard? But Tennessee is able to host this year for the Super Regional, and they have four good ones coming in this weekend. Let's get right into it. So the first one that we've got, I don't have video or anything pulled up on that, but the first one they got is they've got two pitchers, two position guys. And so I'll kind of get in it. Cody Bowker from Georgetown. So this year he was second team all Big East, 5-1, 3.00 ERA, 59 strikeouts and 48 innings pitched. So I think he's a sophomore, so he would have at least a year of eligibility with. He's a two-way guy, but from what I've understood, Tennessee's recruiting him as a pitcher. So he would come in, if they're able to lock that one up, he would come in and be a part of. I'm not sure if he's a starter or a reliever. Based on those innings pitched, 48, I'm looking at he's possibly a relief pitcher. And they're going to need relief pitchers and starters next year as well. Your second pitcher, and I think this is one Nate Snead may be a little familiar with, Tommy Lepore from Wichita State. Now, he's a freshman this year. He is rated for 2026 as one of the top 100 prospects coming out. This dude's supposed to be pretty good. He 78 and a third innings pitched, 4.25 ERA, 69 strikeouts for the year. I'm not sure his in 78 and a third innings pitched. So, pretty good stuff from what we see. And I think he's a guy who is probably, based on 78 and a third, I think he has a good bit of starting experience. With you possibly losing your whole starting rotation, those spots are going to be open next year. So he's a guy that could potentially come in and plug in. He could possibly be a bullpen guy, but which ways do Tennessee go? Do they move some of these younger guys up into the rotation? Does Nate Snead possibly go to the rotation next year? Some of you will mention AJ Causey. I think AJ Causey will get drafted and be gone on that. And then you got a couple hitters, guys that'll have at least a year of eligibility left, but will probably be drafted after next year. The first one's Gavin Keelan from Louisville. He was third team All ACC this year. Predominantly played shortstop, but he has played some second base for Louisville. So that means one of two things. They're recruiting him to come in and play second base next year, or they're not that sold on Ariel Antigua. I think it's going to be the first one, though. I think he will be, because I think you'll have Antigua at short, Curley at third. So I don't see anybody else on the team in these middle infield spots that's ready to step in. I could see some guys hit the portal, as a matter of fact, out of that. And so Keelan, if he comes in for Louisville, 333, 10 home runs, 44 RBIs, he's considered a pretty highly ranked. I think he's considered a top 100 prospect for next year as well. So if you're able to get him, that's a good one. And then the last one's Blake Sear, CYR from Miami. Says he did spend a lot of this year injured, but he was a freshman All-American with 17 home runs his freshman year. He still hit, I think, 7 or 8 this year. He has seen he can play second base, or he can possibly play the outfield. And here's what you have to keep in mind with this as well. And I'm going to reiterate this, and I've had some disagree with me on it. Just trust me on this one. All right? Just trust me. When it comes to this portal and draft stuff, I'll go up against anybody on it. As far as what we're looking at, Here's what we know for Tennessee's roster next year as far as fielders. Burke, Moore, Amick, they're going to be drafted high enough. They're going to be gone. They're probably Moore and Amick, first to second round, we'll say. Blake Burke, probably around first, second, maybe third round. I'm going to say first or second round. They're going to be gone. All right. There's no coming back to improve your stock at that point because they're going to be coming back with no flexibility, no leverage at that point. They would be coming back as seniors with no eligibility and no flexibility in terms of their bonus. They're gone. Outfield. Dylan Dreiling is a sophomore, but due to his age, it's similar to Blade Tidwell a couple years ago. Dreiling, I think he's top 5 round, or let me rephrase that so I don't, not top 5. He'll be within the first 5 rounds. I think he'll be gone. Kavaris Tears, redshirt sophomore, he's draft eligible. He'll be somewhere, we'll say in the first 10 rounds. I'm thinking closer to the first 5 rounds. Those 2 guys will be gone due to signing bonus because they still have leverage in their bonuses. The question's going to be Hunter Inslee. I've seen people mixed on that one, whether he gets drafted or not. Me, I'm going to be surprised if he does not get drafted. And I had somebody tell me, well, he'll come back and improve his stock. Here's the thing. Here's the risk if Hunter Inslee gets picked that he risks. All right. I think he kind of is who he is in terms of the player. I don't think you're all of a sudden going to see him come back next year and hit 350 with 20 bombs and stuff. Doesn't mean any negative. He is kind of who he is. High 200s, close to 300 hitter, around 10 home runs, excellent defense. I think that's what you're going to get out of him. Even if he comes back next year, could you see an uptick? Possibly a little bit, but I don't know that big enough to make that big of a difference. And here's the thing of it, and you need to just trust me on this one. If he's drafted, he has leverage to get a higher signing bonus. If he does not, if he decides to come back, if he gets drafted and decided to come back next year, he loses all leverage. Okay. When you're out of eligibility and drafts you later on, they're going to give you a signing bonus and you have no leverage in what they're offering because you can set it to house at that point, basically, is what it is. Inslee gets drafted, he's going to be gone. I'm just telling you that. I'm not sure on Cal Stark if he has like a COVID year. I'm pretty sure Cal Stark's out of eligibility as well, so he'll be gone. Tennessee's going to have to replace 7 of their 8 fielders. Dean Curley, I think there's a possibility he moves to third. Antigua, so if you get in Keelan, maybe at second. Blake Sear, a good enough prospect, he'd go to the outfield. Now, you probably have Reese Chapman, who I expect to take another step next year. Could Robin Villeneuve take a step after a great start and then a rough middle of the year? You'll have Dalton Bargo back. Where could he factor in that? Cannon Peebles, got to think he takes a big step next year as well. But there's a lot of spots available in this lineup. And honestly, I don't see a lot of ready-made guys ready to step in for it right now. I see Chapman, possibly Villeneuve, Bargo, Peebles, but there's still more. There's still more. And you look at pitchers. Beam's going to be gone. He's going to be probably first couple rounds. Stamos out of eligibility. Xander Sechrist out of eligibility. AJ Causey, I feel he's going to be drafted high enough and with leverage again. He'll be gone. Aaron Combs, same thing. I feel like he'll be drafted, leverage, gone. Could you see a chance taken on a Marcus Phillips or something? Could you see this out of the box where a guy gets drafted you're maybe not expecting and then they're gone? Because I'm just telling you, if you look back over the last few years, all the guys who've been drafted that were Vols took the money and went. Okay. The probability of somebody being drafted and coming back who's currently on the team is about almost, I'd give it a 99.9% chance they do not come back on it. Okay. There's just too much risk with it. Again, if you're out of eligibility and then you get drafted next year, these teams have a pool that they go from. They can't just draft every high-ranked player that there is. They have to manage their pool. If you've watched the Braves over the years, the Braves have done pretty well with that in terms of getting some value early, but then they get some steals later based on having more pool money. Michael Harris, Vaughn Grissom. Of course, they traded Grissom for Chris Sale, but guys like that are factors now in their team. So that's what you're going to kind of look at in terms of that. And so they're bringing these guys in. I expect there will be more, as you know, there's still going to be plenty more guys who hit the portal here in the next few weeks. It's going to be hot and heavy. And then, of course, Tennessee, you've got to think they're going to have more defections. They've already had Wyatt Evans. They've had Zane Denton, which neither was a surprise, and nothing against them. If they were on the team, they would have been losses. Don't get me wrong. They weren't there this year. Okay. It's no surprise. Both of them has made, frankly, to me, bad decisions. Evans, whatever he did to get in the doghouse, and Denton, basically, from what I've read, quit on the team back in the fall and did not participate. So, that's more on Denton to me. That's more on Denton that I think he messed up. He had a great opportunity on a team that wanted him back, and for whatever reason, he didn't take advantage of it. I think he made a bad decision, and I think he'll come to regret that one. But for his sake, I hope it works out for him. But I can't see where it was a good decision. But lots to come here. As with basketball, I was all over the portal stuff with basketball. I will be on it as much as possible with baseball as well, digging around on that as well. No live show this evening after the game, as I've got a commitment this evening. I am possibly looking at in the morning around 10 a.m. doing a tailgate show. So if you're interested in that, leave a comment. I may go with it anyway and see how it works out. As tomorrow's game will be 11 a.m., I'm fully expecting Tennessee will be playing with a chance to wrap up their spot to Omaha tomorrow on it. I'll have a recap later tonight. And, in the meantime, let's get ready for some baseball here in a couple hours. It's Super Regional Friday. Let's rock and roll. My name's Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe down that bottom right corner. There is that option for super thanks as well as super chats with live streams. They are put back into the channel invested. Always appreciate, always appreciate your feedback and your thanks, but definitely appreciate, those monetary thanks as well to go help the channel. But my name's Frank Rock. Once again, House of Orange Sports Channel. Have a great rest of your Friday. And last but most certainly not least, go Vols.